It's election day in certain areas of the world.
It was odd not having to vote today for anything.
In the country, and not of the world, but in this country, there's certain areas. Which election to you two, this is to both of you, feel is the one that kind of says the most about what's going on in our world right now?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. All right, what about New Jersey makes it...
It's of the three major elections, or the four major elections, it's the one that's ostensibly the closest. The Republican candidate is creeping in on Mickey Shirley.
You're talking about the governor's race.
Governor's race in New Jersey.
Yeah, governor's race. It's not a senator's race, it's governor's race.
No, that's the governor of New Jersey, which is one of those states that kind of flies under the radar, but is a really important state when you come right down to it, strangely enough. And the Republican, this is his third bite at the apple. He's run and lost twice in two previous gubernatorial elections. He's
Mike Davis.
Okay. He's closing the gap a little bit.
He was still the best candidate.
Right. Well, I don't know if this guy is.
No, Mike Davis.
Right.
We're talking about Mike Davis / Lewis.
Yeah, right. Well, he got confused. People weren't sure who they were voting for. That's the problem with that. You got to stick with one name. Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to be interesting. I still expect Mickey Sherrill to win, but it may be a lot closer than people were saying just 2 weeks ago when she was up relatively big. And then that gap has closed significantly over the course of the last couple of weeks.
How much confidence do you have in polls?
You have to know who's running the poll. So if it's something like Quinnipiac or people that aren't partisan, because if you look, I mean, there's just a gajillion polls out there, and if you look at some of the big ones like 548 or whatever that is, they will tell you who is supplying the money for the poll, whether it's a Democratic poll, a Republican poll, or just a news poll that's not aligned with any philosophical, political avenues. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the important thing to do when I talk about polls. I did hear a couple of pollsters say that if Mondani doesn't win in New York, it will be the biggest, I just mentioned to you before we started, the biggest polling mistake in pollster history, because the guy's up like 17 points everywhere. Mm-hmm. So if he loses, there's going to be some shockwaves in the polling community. I understand that.
And this usually, Democrats don't turn out in the off-election years as much as Republicans on a percentage. I don't think that's going to play a factor here because it's in New York City.
Correct.
And there's such a high percentage more of Democrats than there are Republicans. And the latest poll that I saw had him at 43%, with Cuomo at 33% and Silva at 14%.
Right, poor Curtis.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's a guy who's worked his entire life at doing the right thing. Not sure why he wants to get into politics this late in his life and his career.
He said he needed a job.
He needed a job. Yeah, come on. Dude, what you do as a volunteer is more than a job.
Absolutely, and he's been doing that since he was a kid, since he was a teenager. You know, he's really had an impact on New York in a positive way. Believe me when I tell you, those Red Berets really cleaned up a lot of neighborhoods.
Yeah,
they did.
Definitely.
But I don't think there's going to be a problem, and there shouldn't be in Virginia with Democratic enthusiasm, because you've got a tremendous amount of right now furloughed and unpaid government workers in Virginia who are coming out to vote today. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that's going to be as close. Spanberger is supposedly up pretty big in that race as well. Prop 50 out in California allegedly has all the numbers they need to persevere in winning that redistricting vote.
Okay.
And those are the four major races we've got going on in the country today. There's congressional races. We talked about it the other day. There's judicial races in Pennsylvania. And
there's a lot of judicial races that are out there.
And people don't understand the impact they actually will have. Mm-hmm. So. Well,
I mean, it's one of those things where I always talk about local. It is actually going to have an impact on those districts and those regions. If not, because, some of the decisions this person might make, and it's an advancement situation. The person that gets elected today might be a Supreme Court justice candidate 20 years from now.
At some point. Yeah, very true. So. Also, whereas 15 years ago.
What did you?
I don't know. Okay. I had a Cheeto and I'm crushed.
Here, I'll get you
But
a little mint here.
No, I might be better off. I think I got to. Oh, look at me.
Hey.
Look at that. Well, the camera didn't follow me?
You gotta predict when you're doing that.
It's like
I have
curls.
Starburst and I have.
I got a Halls.
Okay, all right.
I come prepared every day.
All right.
Sugar-free?
I got Chick-fil-A right there too.
Thank you.
So
no, it's menthol.
Jeez.
20 years ago, elections were held, elections were finished, they counted the votes, and people went home and accepted who the winner was. Nowadays, they haven't
appeal
closed
everything.
they haven't closed the polls, and the courts are involved in all these things. So
and
that's where
it's
those
gotten
judges
way
matter.
more accurate than it was 20 years ago.
Correct.
It hasn't went in the other direction.
You're saying polling?
Huh?
You saying polling or elections?
Elections.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
elections. I would say the polling, it comes down to who you're asking and who's paying for the poll, like you said.
Right.
So I think that I don't think that's changed in 20 years. So
No.
I'd say the polling's probably maybe even a little more questionable today.
Well, are they calling cell phones or are they still calling landlines? And who has landlines? Does that skew?
Who has a landline? You still have a landline?
No, and you know what?
And you're like 1,000 years old.
I
And you
am,
don't have
and you know what? And I think the government made a really, really like the government doesn't make stupid mistakes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They had everybody pull out their copper lines.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb, because a phone would work on low voltage in an emergency without power on your copper line, and your landline would be there in a hurricane, a tornado, any type of thing where other things aren't working. Your telephone would work. You get a dial tone, and you could help talk to people, call for help, and do whatever you need to do. Well, now they pulled out all the copper lines, and you're stuck with an 8-hour battery backup. And what good does that do you when the power's out for 2 days?
Well, our grandma Amanda has a landline.
Okay.
So thank you, Granny Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Yeah. I didn't know those still existed in households.
Well, now they're just wall ornaments where you can hide your cell phone and your charger. Right?
It's like it's next to the Singer sewing machine.
Right.
Oh, those are two antiques right there. But I can't believe they would do any type of polling on a landline
I don't know.
and expect it to be accurate.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if somebody answers the phone, why wouldn't it be accurate?
Yeah.
I mean, how many people? And how many people?
No, but I mean, it's
poll,
not. That's. I would say, with the exception of Amanda,
right.
there's very few people her age
Okay,
that has a landline.
Young
My
women like
parents-
she. Yeah.
My parents would have a landline.
Right.
My parents, I'm pretty sure, still have a landline, but even I never talked to them on the landline.
Okay.
So, and they're in their mid 80s.
Right.
So I would say probably that so it's going to skew. And what
Right.
20-year-old
Yes.
has a landline?
Right. But also,
Blake, do you have any friends that you know of that has a landline at their house?
No.
All right.
no. Okay. But the question is how many people? Unless it says ipso poll or Quinnipiac poll, how many people see a number that's not registered or in their caller IDs that are going to pick
They'll
up?
even answer it,
Right.
yeah.
That's the other problem with that, I think. So
It'll
I
even
think that's
answer
an
it.
issue as well.
So, like I said, I think polling has gotten weaker, where the election process has gotten stronger. I think they're moving against each other.
And a lot of it too is who's writing the question. I mean, a lot of the questions can be tailored to give you the result that you want to get in your poll. When did you stop beating your wife type of situations.
Yeah.
So, that's confusing as well for people. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how accurate any of these four
It's
polls
like one
have
of
been.
those, are you attracted to that goat? Well, not that goat.
Right, exactly.
Not that goat.
Right.
All right. Mandani is the controversies around him, where he was born, his religious background.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pushing and attacking from the right, which absolutely to me looks very prejudiced. And they need to understand and accept this is what our country was built on, and
But that doesn't
the
fly
freedom,
in today's
freedom of religion
Right.
is real.
Well,
And I just said that together. It is a real. I can't say it and not sound like I'm saying Israel. So, did you even hear it?
I did.
I heard it immediately when I
did.
said it. So,
did.
but it is. It's. Everybody should have that same ability, no matter what your religion is.
Correct.
It should be the content of their character not the color of their skin or their religion.
But apparently, nowadays religion is a divisive item in this country more than it was 15 years ago, or certainly much more forefront than it was. I mean, it may have still been a divisive issue, but it wasn't as apparent, wasn't as obvious. It wasn't on the front page or being talked about every 15 minutes, because now it's like, I'm going to even leave it alone. I'm going to try to just back away from this one.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm trying to dig you into it.
Right. I'll go full shovel if you want me to, but it
but
ain't gonna be fun.
I think there's some good and bad trends that are happening, and we're pushing back. What is it? Toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity, yeah.
And I'm considered one of those toxic masculinity guys, but also they learn that the other side is not working for our society. Right. You got to have a little bit of that protector, what should be innate in your makeup, a little bit of that provider, protector, hunter, gatherer,
sure,
in your makeup for our society. Our society is that didn't just start when the United States started.
No,
so I mean that and
that goes back to King Arthur.
You got to have that and have respect with it,
right? And
you can't have both. A lot of people think, oh, if you're this, you can't have this. No, I right. consider myself a masculine father figure, provider, and protector.
And I have a sensitive side too.
But I also cry at Budweiser commercial.
Yeah, there you go.
And I also
I know that well.
I also guess who takes care of the boo-boos in the house? Yeah. And that's so you can have both. And that's what you got to train. And when I say the words train, you got to train your sons to do that too.
Correct.
To be caring, to open doors, be respectful.
Yep.
It's okay to be a man, no matter what everyone says. It's okay to be a man with respect. I'm not talking about those guys that say walk 10 feet behind me, and I'm talking about holding their hand and having them on the inside of the street situations. Treat a woman with respect.
Right.
So and I feel like that has come back a little bit. Anti-male has loosened up in the last 3 or 4 years.
I'm not so sure about that with guys like Pat McAfee and who's the other dingbat that used to feed people?
Dave Portnoy?
No. He just sits on a bar stool. The guy used to feed people grubs on Fear Factor.
Oh, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, him, yeah. Wait, what a career change that guy made from being a stand-up comedian to making people eat grubs in some far-off desert to now he's running the world.
Now he's the number one podcaster in the world. And
we're number 2, right?
Yeah, we're right on his tail.
Okay, good. As long as he knows we're breathing down his back.
Keep an eye out there, Joe.
But he's also mellowed his situation from, where it is. But again, how can you divorce the fact that we've got a president who wants to build a cage on the White House lawn for UFC matches outside his big, beautiful ballroom for Dana White? That's just people beating the shit out of each other for no real reason because they can.
That's their job.
I understand that, but it also translates into society.
No, it doesn't. No, just don't watch it.
No, I don't.
That's all you got to do. Just don't watch it. It's very, very simple. If that's not for you, just don't watch it.
Absolutely, but you don't think that the current of that doesn't translate into everyday society?
No.
When that is being forefront on the lawn of the White House?
That's like saying you listen to the Grateful Dead, so you're nothing but a stoner loser. That is the equivalent of that. Okay. That is the equivalent of that. It's not fair. It's not fair to the people that watch it. It's not fair to those analogies.
I didn't say anything about the people that watch it. I just think that it's glorifying violence to a large degree.
But
it's a sport.
Yeah, but here's my thing though. I'm a Democrat. I vote Democrat down the ballot on most issues, but I also love the Ultimate Fighting Championship. It definitely is great entertainment. I know it's not for everyone, and I definitely don't believe that should be on the White House. But definitely if the UFC comes to Jacksonville, I might go on Ticketmaster to see if there's any cheap tickets.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's right. Not for everybody, but this particular president who has a particular affinity for this sport I mean, so did you get mad when Eisenhower put in a putting green?
No, I like golf.
Okay, see my point?
Or the bowling alley, or the swimming pool, or the movie theater, which is now gone.
Yeah, you see my point, though? I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Right. Fashions change, times change, things of that nature change. I understand that. I really do.
All right.
And
Barbara I'm not sure. I said something about character, and what I've seen of this man, he takes care of his family. He's hired a lot of people. I don't agree with his political views.
Who's that, Mandami?
Mandami?
Yeah.
I don't agree with his political views, but the character.
Hey, if he pulls this off,
just because he believes something different than I do doesn't affect the character of that person. And if this was a character vote, Curtis wins this easily.
There you go.
It's not even close.
And Andrew wouldn't even be in the race.
Andrew wouldn't.
Right. Wouldn't be in the race.
If this was by character, Curtis wins it easily. It's a runaway, and Andrew doesn't qualify.
Well, I don't know. Do we know enough about Mandami's character to weigh in on that?
That's what everything I know about him as he's a person who's hired people.
Right.
He's a person who hasn't had any cases against him, any lawsuits against him, any of those things. As a politician, that's rare.
Novel nowadays, for sure.
It's rare. So, Blake, if you can find a scandal real quick, I'd love to hear it. But I didn't see anything, like I said, I would not have voted for him because I politically don't agree with, how far he is to the left. But in New York City, it's probably a popular view.
Well, I mean, it's an affordability issue. Donald Trump won the election saying he was going to fix affordability. To date, he has not. Doesn't mean he's not still trying. Doesn't mean there may not be a light at the end of the tunnel. That may not be a train. We'll see what happens. But, that was his campaign is, it's too expensive to live in America. I'm going to bring costs down. What's Mandani saying? It's too expensive to live in Manhattan. I've got to control rents. I've got to control food costs. I've got to control energy costs. And this is important for people to survive.
When you try and do that from the political side and not let the society manage itself, it always ends up poor. History has proven that many times over. Let the American people decide, not the government decide. When the government starts making certain decisions and overstep, I like less government than more, and he's definitely calling for more government.
He's not a communist, Barbara Jean. Read your definitions. He's a democratic socialist, and there is a distinction.
Yeah,
you got to stop doing that.
And that hurts the right. With statements, like I get onto you when you repeat from the left side, I get onto you about it, so I have to do the same.
Right.
That hurts. Who knows? It looks like this guy's going to win.
Yeah,
it seems to be that way. And look, democratic socialist should scare enough people. You don't have to say communist because he's not a communist.
No, and the socialists that you're talking about and that experiment that I'm talking about has not worked in a lot of countries.
Well, you get a 5-year plan, and then you get another 5-year plan, and then you get another 5-year plan, and then you get starvation.
And that's the whole thing, is the beauty of our country is if the experiment doesn't work, he gets voted out. And that's 5 years of pain and suffering, but guess what? Since 2020, New York hadn't been doing so great, the city.
Right.
So, so a change isn't always comfortable, but change has to happen.
Sometimes it's necessary, for sure.
Yeah. And in my opinion, if I have a crystal ball and what I see them needing help and them asking for help if they implement some of the things that I saw him trying to implement. And I think you're going to see an exodus of wealthy people in New York City if he applies some of the things and is able to get some of these things across. Because he's trying to be Robin Hood, and it doesn't work in politics.
Yeah, but how is if he makes buses free and groceries less expensive? How is that going to affect the uber wealthy in New York? It's going to piss him off because people are raising their standard of living?
I want to know how he's going to make groceries less expensive.
Well, he's talking about free supermarkets, so I don't know how that's even going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. That is fairy tale bullshit.
Right.
And the fact that if you think that that's real, and you're voting for this guy, then that's a problem in itself. Free buses, that's coming from somewhere else. That's coming from another social program usually, because people are going to hold on to their programs the best they can. So it's going to come out of that same bucket somewhere.
Yeah, it's only.
That means
one
somebody
bucket,
else
right.
is going to get hurt.
Correct.
So, there is that yin and yang that you have to play, and it's nice to say things, but it's another thing to follow through.
Well, make it happen.
Yeah,
right.
Follow through with
and
it.
if he can, more power to him. But the fact that
if he can lower grocery prices, then we'll make him grocery czar.
Right. But the fact that the uber wealthy in Manhattan, if he wins, are going to go fleeing for Florida or Texas or, God forbid, cross the border to New Jersey or Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens, because how is this? The fact that he becomes mayor of New York, how is it going to change their quality of life?
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
They can afford their groceries. They're not going to go to a free grocery store. They don't take the bus, so they're not going to worry about a free bus. You know what? They can, but why?
Mm-hmm. Just and Amanda, the campaign thing that I saw too, that could apply to almost every single candidate that's out there. I'm talking about like him as a father, him as a business person,
right,
and those type of things. So no, I saw that one also, but every time I see something like that,
campaign
and it happens at the local level, and that's almost a he said she said situation. I kind of throw those things out.
Yeah.
The only one that really chapped me was the representative from California that doesn't live in her district, and she pays her daughter $400,000 a year.
Oh, is that
Waters?
Yeah, Maxine Waters.
Maxine Waters.
Yeah.
That one's a real number there. So that one's the one that really kind of chapped me.
Which is interesting.
And also Kareem
Brown.
Kareem Brown did it here locally.
Right.
So and she went to jail
she got
for
busted
it.
for it. Exactly.
She went to jail for it.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, but definitely though, like the big thing I do think we want to get across is like all three of us are debating about like Mom Donnie's policies and it should be effective. And we're not saying like don't go out and voting for Mamdani, but we're having an honest debate about like Mamdani, like saying like, okay, this stuff might hurt New York, this stuff might hurt New York, but of course it's kind of hard to get that message out there to like modern voters. So what the most represent? So what did I see like the worst of the worst out there?
Yeah, well, I mean, and Josh, you said exactly what I said. He's running on that Robin Hood mentality,
right?
And I don't know about you guys. I'm 58 years old. You're a little bit older than me, but when you were 10,
okay,
the fear of quicksand was real.
Yeah,
I thought at some point in my life I would have to reach for the vine and lay flat to get out of the quicksand.
Swim out of it. Yeah.
I'm 58 years old. You know how many times I've been in quicksand?
0.
I grew up at a beach with dunes bigger than this, and I never had a fear of sand or quicksand, fortunately.
Well, I'm talking about the old Tarzan movies and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
You totally ruined my analogy by taking it to the beach.
No, that's the sand I had. Right.
But what I'm saying is there's a fear out there of the unknown. And I'm sorry, New York City's in bad shape. We all agree New York City financially is not in great shape and has not been in great shape since 2019.
Yes, Gabe Beam. Go back further.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I mean, it really took a hit then. The last 5 years, they really have done nothing to get out of that quicksand. So if it takes a jar where you have to sink lower for someone to throw them a rope and get them back healthy again, I'm willing to take that chance.
Right, and this guy may be successable.
Yeah,
and if he's successful, I'm gonna applaud him for that too.
Right,
and that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So basically what we're trying to say is just like stay like you have an opinion about it, just don't post videos of like the worst day in American history to get your point across.
I mean some of the things,
right?
I'm talking about the extremist attitude, and it's on both sides. Like I said, I get on to you about certain things and following certain things, but the extremist ideas aren't healthy for any of us. So,
hey, Barbara Jean, do you collect Social Security? Do you collect Medicare?
Yeah, those are
You shouldn't
real.
be so afraid of socialism because it's keeping you up. It's keeping you above water.
That's Democratic.
That's socialism, is it not?
It's not socialism. No,
it's not.
It's not socialism because we work for that Social Security.
Okay.
Did you not work for it?
I did.
Because your Social Security is associated
what
with
about
that.
Medicare?
Medicare, we got to take care of our old.
I don't know. No. I think it's fine. I think we should. I think we should be doing more.
But I don't.
No doubt
I can't
about
call
it.
that socialism. Though. If you think that's socialism, I mean, the closest thing we have to socialism, believe it or not, is our medical system, and people don't believe that. But you know what? You call today, you have zero insurance. They're going to show up. You show up at the hospital, are they going to push you out the door, or are they going to take care of you?
No, they have to.
They're going to take care of you.
Right.
Okay? So that's, to me, the closest thing we have. And guess what Democrats bitch about the most? Is health care.
Well, but they don't want to force everybody to go to the emergency room and collapse the hospital systems, which will happen.
It hasn't happened, and it's
backing
existed.
them up.
It's existed for 100 years that way, and it still hasn't happened.
Okay.
I mean, and it's.
And how are those hospitals doing in rural counties in the middle of the country that have been shut down, and now you got to go 150
They get
miles
healthy
to get to a
checks
hospital?
from the government.
The hospitals aren't there anymore.
No, the ones that are run properly.
Well, okay. And how many of those are floating around?
Well, I tell you what, the Mormons seem to have it nailed down because Advent Health is crushing it.
Well, and Utah is, by the way, the state that has the lowest need for SNAP benefits as well. Where's Pete Melfi when you need him in his favorite state?
It's somewhere in the middle. It's near Iowa or something.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to change some gears right here because we got kind of hard in on that. We'll see what happens today. To me, I think New York's going to be looking. They're going to look at a new mayor no matter what.
Correct.
But I think we're going to see how this experiment plays out because I look at this as an experiment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, it's our most populated city we're experimenting in.